Hi, Project 95. Waiting for you. Um, we're looking at October 19th, 1995. Municipal Auditorium, Kansas City, Missouri. Not Kansas City, Kansas. There are two. Um, and I've mentioned in the initial post, this was, mixed mixed emotions going to this one. Coming off just a slog of a drive from New Orleans by myself through the night, 20 hours. Don't take anyone else's word for it. It was 20 hours. Um, just bad. Uh, Bad all around. Was quickly revitalized in, uh, you're only as good as your next show. Is that a take on that saying? I don't know. Um, I was sort of rejuvenated um, in Kansas City, mostly for, as you can see, the top two notes are that I met Mike Gordon, the bassist, Michael Gordon, and I talked to Paige again. And Paige actually remembered me. Didn't remember my name. But he recognized the getup that I was wearing, the the Phish shirt and the Weeblo hat. So he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Hey, Fort Worth, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he and I chatted, and this was after a few hours of just aimlessly walking around like downtown Kansas City. It's a decent sized city, um, but I kind of made it there too early and didn't really have, and what I do. So, but this would start a trend for me of walking around cities, basically hunting the band's bus to see, yeah, basically hunting their hotel, and then sort of loitering. It's very stalkerish. But as I said before I left, um, a big some of the biggest boxes I was hoping to check on this tour was meet the band, become their best friends, and just hang on forever. Um, so that's basically what happened. I was just kind of meandering around Kansas City, and I'm like, oh shit, is this a couple blocks from the arena? I'm like, that's their bus for sure. So either they're on the bus and gonna go into the hotel, or they are in the hotel and they're gonna get on the bus. So I was looking. Um, in hindsight, it does feel stalkerish. So, but paid off. Um, they were both coming out to the bus from the hotel, and Mike, I kind of, appeared as if out of nowhere, and I, shook Mike's hand and said, "Hey, Mike, hey," and he was like, kind of, nice to meet you. Boom, on the bus, and then Paige kind of stopped and chatted. Did a stop and chat, a classic Larry David stop and chat. They were headed over to do sound check, and I think Trey and Phish were on the bus already, so they were basically coming out of the hotel. So that was a nice little moment again to sort of snap me out of my funk. And then later they would snap me back into the funk. Actually, I don't know how funky this show was, but um, so that was really cool. I was like, okay, I'm kind of making inroads. They didn't invite me on the bus. I don't know if you thought that's where this was headed. It was not headed there. They went to do sound check, and I kept on a meandering. Um, and but those are the kinds of things that make you realize, like, oh shit, I'm on tour, right? This is why I'm doing it. This is the fun part. I get to go to another show, and I still have a shitload more to go to. So the show itself, this one for me was all about the Mike's Groove, because I feel like they hadn't been playing it. And I remember, and mentioned before, probably in Compton Terrace, because that one was such a monster. I was such a Weekapog guy. The mics and the mics part I did not like it. I was a huge Weekapog, and I loved hearing the bass drum intro. And this Weekapog went a lot of cool places. I think that's one of those songs that did that. So this Mike's, and it went into Hydrogen. So a classic Mike's Groove. Mike's Hydrogen Weekapog was just that was my major takeaway from my set. This is also the first show that I got something to eat at the arena. I still don't typically do that. I remember getting nachos before the show, because, as I mentioned, like especially when I was alone, I went in at doors. Like, doors open at 6, I was in line, and I went in, and a lot of times I would take naps, and I would just sit and just take in the atmosphere. But typically, I didn't get food at shows. My routine is typically don't eat before a show, and then gorge yourself after a show. And any of the Jam Boys will tell you that it was usually Denny's afterwards. But in this case, it was typically McDonald's. But yeah, everyone says, oh, it's a great pee break song. I've never gone to the bathroom during a show. It's showtime, and I kind of lock in. And so getting food at this show was kind of a new thing. And I remember I got nachos in Kansas City, and just enjoyed them as people came in. And I mentioned before as well, used to just watch them, the techs come out, Carini come out and tinker with the drums, and I'd just, Paul going back and forth, and Kuroda and Pete, and I don't know if Brian Brown was there yet. But anyway, I'd watch them set up. I'd watch the road crew hanging lights, just whatever. Like, that kind of stuff was as interesting to me as anything. And I remember this in Kansas City too. The Greenpeace table, because Water Wheel wasn't a thing yet, you could sign up for like a raffle to win a backstage pass. Because, as I said, I'm like, I'm gonna meet this band. I'm going backstage started to become kind of this thing for me. I figured I put in the time. This would be, this would sort of be the cherry on top of a delicious Phish sundae. So that was the night I started putting my name in to these backstage pass raffles. I never won, but I remember Kansas City. It was before show. I was milling around, got my nachos, chilling out, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's how you get backstage, because I'm not blowing any of these guys. Uh, um, anyway, the Mike's groove is uh is up there. It's good. Um, I nail the cars, trucks, buses right out the gate. I'm learning. I'm learning. Uh, I was gonna say I'm a fast learner, but I'm not because it took me like 3 weeks to get it right. Then I'm just noting what they wore. I should just their appearance. I remember Trey's haircut in Spokane, and this was back when Trey started wearing that skull cap. If you look at any old 95s, you can kind of pinpoint when it was. This was the first I saw the skull cap. Mike in all black with a headband. Looked like it was a Cobra Kai or some shit. But I'm commenting on their fashion. Like, have you guys seen that Instagram account, Phish Fashion, where they basically break down their outfits every night and like show you how much it, like where you can get it. They're internet sleuths who find that shit out. You remember my sequence? I love sequences. Jim, Horn, Punch, Esther, Chalk Dust, Feed. That's a first set, dude, and that's like the first chunk of it. Jim, Horn, Punch, Esther, Chalk Dust with a double ending, and then Feed from the bottom. It's not theme yet. Yep, I'm still riding that horse, dude. And this was, at least according to my notes, the first secret language cue. Before Esther, they did the circus one, the and then they would bring it back later with All Fall Down, the beginning of Possum. Possum was fertile ground for the historically for the secret language cues. Personal fave is obviously the Homer Simpson, the dough. But so that was kind of a cool wrinkle and something that I hadn't added to the list of Phish things, right? That they kind of gimmicks or boxes to check. Double ending on the Chalk Dust. I listened to that yet. I went straight to them listening to the Mike's week of Pug now. And then Voice of Trey's Daughter. I want to go to that, but I think he was playing it he had it recorded because his Eliza's his first, I think. She was just born, I think, that summer, like maybe August of that year. And I remember that being kind of a thing now, like that he was a dad. And then split. So I took a nap, obviously. And then Billy Breeze, and then a classic Cavern to close it out. And then, that the Mike's groove is the heart of the second set, but they open with Frankenstein, which is pretty hot. Like, I remember that being a big deal. And then, they kind of dick around the rest of the set, right? Lawn Boy, they do their Phish thing, right? I'm not complaining, but this is kind of what they can do. Like, I mentioned that sequence in the first set, right? Jim, Horn, Punch, Esther, Chalk Dust, theme, split. Let's say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 7-song chunk of just like hardcore Phish. then they're Frank's Poor Heart, Mike's Hydrogen Weekapug. Then they decide to dick around the rest of the set. It's like, yeah, we put in our time. Now we're going to give you this. Lawn Boy, Big Black Furry, Trey on the megaphone into Kung, Suspicious Minds, Hold Your Head Up. Right? So now they're just like, it's pick your poison. It's like, what do you want? You want us to absolutely shred, or do you want us to be, completely make fun of ourselves, basically, and you at the same time, and just play around with these sort of silly, ridiculous, but still, like, Big Black Furry rages. But then they're like, all right, we'll give you, all right, we're back. Possum, close it with Possum, and then Day in the Life in the encore. But Possum's hot, 95, 94, 95, I've told you, man. I'll take them all day, every day. But it's fascinating the way they can be a different band, 3 different bands a night sometimes. We mentioned they're a great bar band, right? Well, they're this kind of like comedy band, maybe, if that's a thing. It is now, because Lawn Boy is a funny song. Big Black Furry is a hilarious song. Kung is a ridiculous song. Fishman doing Elvis, doing Suspicious Minds is just out of pocket. And the whole Hi-Hu story of how Phish hates it, so they play it as his intro song, is hilarious. And then just Possum. So, this show is a great kickoff to this Midwest leg. Midwest leg has this. Then we go Iowa, Cedar Rapids. Then we go Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska, whichever one it's in, Lincoln or Omaha. Then Champaign, Illinois. Then Madison, Wisconsin. Then St. Paul, Minnesota. Then Kalamazoo, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan. Then Louisville. Then Halloween in Chicago. So that's your Midwest leg, and it's pretty nice, and it's off to a good start, as you hopefully can hear when you listen to the show on re-listen, because this week of Pog is Phish on that ride all night. Yeah, so I'll see you guys actually tomorrow night. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Looking forward to it.